Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us tonight on the Ladies of Lawn Care show. We got some good ones here for you tonight. Let me just say, real quick, there's one guest that might be popping in and out because she's having some problems with her camera there. So expect that it's going to be in and out. Um, this series again is just to introduce to you all the ladies out there in lawn care that are out there doing the thing, and you may not have heard of them, but I want to introduce you to them. This particular episode I'm dedicating to the DIYers. That is where I started. That is where I have the utmost appreciation for. So tonight we're going to talk to a few of them. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to go ahead and get everybody on here and introduce them. Hey guys, what's up?
What's happening?
What's going on?
As you
What's
can
up?
see,
Hey, Superwoman.
we have Eva, we have India's back with us, and we have Brenda. We're
Hey,
gonna chat with them tonight, have a good time, find out some things about them. Maybe they'll find out some things about you. I mean, you never know what happens on the show. But yeah. So you guys want to just do a quick introduction? We'll start with Eva.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yep, I reside in the Chicagoland area and I'm growing fescue bluegrass blend. And I'm nervous. I've never been on here before like this. Um,
Make her feel
let's
at
see.
home, guys.
I Yeah, and this was my first year, ever doing anything with lawn whatsoever. I'm one of those people that I'm one of those people that turned around and looked at the grass this year and was like, "Oh my God, who did it? What for? And please don't do it again." I had to take over the lawn because there was, blessed. I mean, he was a nice man that was coming to cut the grass before, but it was just a mess. Just
I think
dark
that's kind
patches.
of what starts everybody into it, where you have a service that's not so good, and I mean they say it all the
hmm
time. No one is going to take better care of your stuff than you are. So
That is 100% true. Already the lawn has come along a lot better, and this is my grandparents' house, and so when I started fixing up the house, really is what I guess that's kind of what prompted me to turn around and look at the lawn and like, oh my goodness, I need to do something with this. The lawn, it's part of the curb appeal of
right,
this house. This
right.
house was built in the 1890s, and
Wow.
uh-oh, no, not now. So I am so sorry about that.
It's okay. I know you
Um,
said that. I know you said that you this house has a very interesting story to it, and I decided to wait to hear that story when everybody was on screen. So if you want to go ahead and tell us, give us some background on that.
oh, okay, sure. Well, my grandparents bought this house back in the 1950s. And if it's funny because we were talking about used cars earlier, and in the 1950s they paid $15,000 for this.
15,000
15 grand
dollars.
for, yes, for like a 3 stories tall house. And so the home, it needed, it needed a lot of work. I ripped the carpet up. I've replaced the copper plumbing from the basement to the upstairs. This kitchen still needs to be done, but the upstairs, all the cracks in the walls have been repaired. The old flooring and carpet was ripped out and replaced with, what did I get? The engineered
Engineer.
wood, I think they
Yeah.
call it,
Very cool.
and a nice color. So you can kind of see the gray. You see the
Very
gray
cool.
behind
Very
me?
cool.
Yep,
Yeah.
I worked my way. Or should I say, the painters have worked their way to here. And then if you look like, which way am I going? I don't know. I can't tell. But
You can't
anyway, it's
tell.
like over by the picture, it's like tan. I'm working my way down, trying to work
All
my way
right.
down here.
Well, we're definitely gonna
So,
start with you when we're gonna look at that lawn for that house. So that's gonna be cool. Uh, we
ooh,
lost Brenda again, so
oh
it's
no.
okay. It's okay. She'll be right back. All right, and I'm gonna let her talk before we lose her again. So Brenda, really quickly, introduce yourself before we lose you again.
Just real fast talk. My name is Brenda. I'm 55. I live in Midlothian, Virginia. I have known Pam for a few years now. We met right after her twins and our twins were born. And Man, it's been a journey. I moved here in February 2012 from Texas, Dallas, Texas, where we had nothing in our lawn except Bermuda and St. Augustine. Cut it short, cut it once a week, water it a little bit. If you got a bare spot, put a runner down. Just cut a runner off anywhere, lay it in the sand, and I mean sand, literally. Lay it in the sand and water it, and it'll catch right back up and fill in your holes. Fast forward to 𝗃𝗏𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 fescue.
Right.
The house, when we moved into our house, it was a beautiful, lush, thick, amazing fescue. I was like, in heaven, I love this grass. And then I started caring for it for myself. And within 2 years, it was just about nothing. Turns out I was giving it way too much of a buzz cut.
Right. Because you were used
Fescue
to
doesn't like buzz cut.
Bermuda and St. Augustine. So
Yeah, I mean, you gave it buzz cuts. So buzz cuts were the first thing that was killing it. We finally hired someone because I didn't know much about fescue. Well, they brought in a bunch of weeds, and it's switched to all.
oh, we lost her. All right. All right. So
Oh,
where is she coming back here? Here we go.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Between the lawn care companies that we hired and the birds, we just, filled our lawns with weeds. I started taking care of it during COVID times again, saying, okay, I'm going to do this. Became committed. I knew Pam was starting to do some stuff on her own lawn and starting a business, and said, okay, let me give it a try. So I got a lot of work to do. I've got some burning that I need to do and starting over. And then we just had a big area cleared in the back, and we've got to have sprinklers run, and I've got to plant grass. So my commitment is to really, really learn how to take care of what I've got in a different way so that it lives.
Okay. And we're going to be on that. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. All right, let's go over to India. India, welcome back. Welcome back. What's new with you? You have anything?
Thanks for having me. Nah, I'm finishing up. That's about it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this winter break.
Yeah. You got plans for the off season?
Lawn related? Not really.
Not really. Okay.
It's my break time.
All right. There you go.
That's my break time.
All right, let's let Brenda back in here, and we're gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and Eva, we're gonna take a look at some of the stuff. We're gonna look at your yard and just kind of talk about it a little bit and let you guide us through this.
okay.
Can you see that? Can everybody see that first picture there?
I think everybody might have dial up,
Oh, really? Eva, can you see anything?
Not yet.
Check YouTube. Check YouTube.
There it is. I see it now.
See, we all see it at the same time. It wasn't just me.
Okay, all right. So a little bit of a delay. I got you. All right. So tell us a little bit about this picture here, Eva.
Okay, that was oh my God, I want to say maybe late August. It was after I dethatched it, and I dethatched the daylights out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had someone come in and fill in the dips. There were a lot of like old dips in the lawn. So I had just someone bring soil to fill in those dips, and I got seed from GCI Turf Services. That magical seed.
It's magical
and
seed.
Anyway, it is this magic. That's I don't. The grass was insane afterwards. I decided that I wanted a thick shag carpet, dark green lawn, and I really think that the seed helped get it there. Like I was saying, anyway, I dethatched the daylights out of it through here, and as you can see, the sprinklers running because I seeded heavily.
Okay.
And it grew in, and it grew in, and it grew in thick. It grew in like almost scary, to the point where like I was walking in it and I'm looking down. I'm like, man, this grass got big. And it was kind of spooky because I'm like, there could be something in there and I wouldn't even know it until I was on top of it with the lawnmower. So I decided 4 1/4 was like kind of spooky. So I brought it down a little bit, a little bit lower. It's more like 3 something. It was 3 3/4 and then 3 1/4. Let's see, that picture was also taken around the same one as the first. That might have been a few weeks. No, not a few weeks. Maybe a couple of weeks after seeding.
Well, that looks like it's cut
Where
pretty low.
Yeah, yeah, it was maybe that was a few weeks after seeding because
Okay, so you
I
cut it
did cut
down.
it down.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. When I dethatched it and seeded, cut it down very low because, you're not supposed to mow it for a minute. You don't want to walk on your
Right. And you
baby
did the right
grass.
thing.
So, yeah, that was that. And I I got also, just to give it the best start I could, I got the next product line, the starter fertilizers for
Gotcha.
new seeds.
Yeah.
And I started applying those products and it turned into that. It
Nice.
turned into that.
I see that
That was,
𝘁𝗃 back there. That's what you use. That's what you use to cut. We were talking about that.
that
We were
machine
chatting
is,
about that a little
oh,
bit. Yeah.
that machine is like butter. It's like butter. It's worth every cent.
Which model do you have? What is that? Which one is that?
That, oh my goodness. I have the recycler, the 22-inch Vortex,
Oh, nice.
and I have the super recycler.
Nice.
Next year I want to get the Greenworks with the dual blade. But so far,
But why? Why do you want another one?
just for different experience, just to cut something, different, just to throw some variety out there. I'm like, I'm in a different mood, I'm in one mood, I'll drive one car, different mood, different day, I'll drive a different car. That's
I
really
try to
how it is,
use
just
that.
variety.
I try to use that, and that does not work for me. It's like you don't need another mower. I don't need one, but I want one. So, um,
Wait a minute. What do you mean it doesn't work for you? Is your wife put the kibosh on that?
basically, yep. And let's not talk about it anymore.
Gotcha. All right, okay. I see
Oh,
what you. All right.
all right.
But anyway,
So,
but I love that one, that black one, the super recycler. It's
uh-huh.
like it's incredibly smooth. What they do for the shock absorbing part of it, I should be telling this tutorial really,
Yeah.
but what they do for the shock absorbing part of it, it really truly works. Any little lumps and bumps, jars, it takes all that away. Like I said, it's like butter.
Nice.
Okay, this one was taken. What I got is the hydrant. This was probably September, maybe
Okay.
September.
So it's growing back in after the reseed at this point because it does look a little bit
Yeah.
taller. It's hard to see the
It's growing
height
back
on this
after.
picture.
Yeah, that's something that I want to work on come next year is how to take better pictures with the sun angle.
Mm-hmm.
And I yeah, it's you're supposed to take it with the sun behind you if I'm not mistaken. And that's how the stripes show up the most. And with my property rising in the east, so that side setting west, this side. So yeah, the stripes were going that way. So yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
it's always been a little bit difficult for me to figure that out. Polo has said things about that multiple times, as far as which way your stripes are gonna look the best. So,
Now, Missouri says you need a big league kit to deepen those stripes.
yeah. Have you thought about getting that
I
kit on there?
I agree. I do want to get a striping kit next year. Um, I'm just not sure which one.
I mean, big league. I have
Okay.
to go with that. Toro makes one apparently, and Turf was saying that because Turf has tried the Toro and the big league, and he says the big league is much better than the Toro. Now I've only tried the big league, but I stand behind that striper. That thing is awesome. It is really
Big
nice.
league. Now, do you just order it from Amazon or?
Actually, I think I got mine. I found a discount, and I ended up getting it directly from the big league site.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
you just got to
right. I'll
make sure
check
you
it
order
out.
the right one. And the folks, the customer service at Big League, you just give them your model number and they'll make sure you're buying the right one.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, I'll definitely try it next year because I do want to get, more
Yeah,
deeper
and
stripes
Cam
on it.
Cam just responded too. He uses a big league, and yeah. So it's like, if
Okay.
you're gonna invest,
All
go ahead
right.
and
I
invest in
know
that.
it.
So
Okay, I believe.
I
Hey,
would
that was easier than
definitely.
helping somebody find a car.
Do we have any let's see, drop big league information in the description. So let me put this up there. Anon Andrea. Andrea. So it you're gonna have to contact the big league people. Just type in big league, I think it's big league lawn striper. Because they're gonna tell you the correct model to buy. There's so many different ones out there for these mowers, so you want to make sure you get the right one. I'm not even sure I got the right one for my model, and I didn't contact them until after the fact. So do that. So let's see. We have any other questions in the chat? Oh, so this is
Okay, now
good. This is good to know.
that photograph was more recent. Let's
Yeah,
see, because
hold
I
on
see
one
my
second, Cuba. I wanted to, you mentioned the striping situation and not understanding where the light was. And Mozuri put a comment in here. It says the sun calc app helps tell you how the sun hits your house all times of the day. So I'd never even heard of that. So I'm gonna make note of that myself.
Sun Calc app.
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
yeah.
I gotta check that out. Oh my goodness. All the things that everybody finds is crazy.
I mean, there's
All
an
right.
app. There's an app for everything. You know, there's an app for everything. All right, so
Who
let's
knew?
talk a little bit about this picture now. Something that I see there, it looks like I'm not sure what's happening with the lighter spots there. Were you having some issues, or is it laying down, or what's going on with that?
Not with no issues with this photograph on that particular day. That it was just long and laying down and just reflecting the light. It was a overcast that day. That it just wasn't it wasn't, the greatest picture, but I thought I believe this photograph it it enhances or it details more the health of the grass, and that's why I captured that particular one. And also I was talking about the house. You can see the side of the house a little bit. Um the foundation there, those stones, that was more work that I had done to my grandparents' house. Someone had painted all those beautiful stones green, like they were dark
Oh,
green, and then someone else came and painted over the dark. Oh, this happened over the years. Someone else came over the dark green and painted like a teal kind of green color.
that
And
would
my
all
roof
that
is
that's
like a
gonna
forest
clash.
green.
That's gonna clash with the grass so bad, so
Big
bad.
time, big time. I couldn't stand it. I could not stand it. So I had a masonry company come and they blasted all that old crap off of those stones and they repaired all the disintegrated mortar between the stones. So now I have, that's my original 120 some year old foundation there. But aha,
Yeah.
there's that
So,
picture where it
so,
was definitely something
so,
going on.
yeah. So you were talking about that thick, lush grass, and this looks pretty thick right here.
Yeah, you can see in spots where it's just like awesome and you want to go roll in it. And then there's this other spots that just don't look quite right. And then so I observe it and I see how it grows and all that stuff kind of towards the middle, going towards my neighbor's house a little bit. That's not grass. That's gotta go. I have to figure out next year if I'm just gonna kill it all or if I'll do dethatch the daylights out of it and reseed on top and hope for the best. Or or what? I don't know yet. And that corner that's closest to us on that photograph,
Mm-hmm.
it's shaded there, and sometimes the mail lady will walk over that corner, so it's hard to get grass to grow in that spot. And as you can see, the leaves from the tree shades quite a bit, and
Yeah.
then you see my neighbor's house in the back. I gotta do something with her bush
Yeah.
because she's got like one of them, the one on the end. I mean, and I've just watched. It's like it's been like that for a
All
few
you can
years.
do
I'm
is
like,
talk to her about it, I guess. So
I'm like, we should
Missouri
do something with
gave
the
us a
dead bush.
Missouri gave us a good lawn tip here. So when you mow, if you see swirls in your grass and it lays down, that's a tip to sharpen your blades. So how often do you sharpen your blades?
Let's see, on my red vortex recycler once because I couldn't take the blade off. It was too difficult. I didn't have the upper body
Ah,
strength or something. So I had
yeah.
the didn't have the upper body strength to get the bolt off of there to get the blade. So instead I picked up the entire lawnmower and put it in the Jeep and took it to the Ace Hardware. I'd much rather prefer to be able to take off the blade at home and, just take it to Ace or whatever and let them sharpen it or learn how to sharpen myself. Thing is I need somebody to teach me. I need somebody to teach me how to get that blade off of there, teach me how to sharpen
So
it,
the
and we're
best
good.
thing to
And
do,
it's like,
there's so many videos on YouTube. That's what I did. I learned how to take my blades off by watching videos on YouTube. And it's a
hmm
lot easier than you think. But you mentioned how it's super tight and you can't get it off. I had that same
yeah,
issue. I had that same issue in the beginning, and then I got a socket wrench that helped me, an electric one that just got it off that first time because it shouldn't have been. And then when you put it back on, you just tighten it as much as you can.
electric socket wrench.
Yeah, the cordless socket wrench. So that's
I
what I
never knew
use
there
to
was
get it
such
off, but
a
I
thing.
don't use that anymore because I don't ever
hmm
want it. I found out with my ego that if I over tighten, then my mower won't run. And that's when I
Oh,
stopped using that socket wrench and I just use, like my whatever power I have in this little body to tighten it as tight as as I can. So
gotcha. Okay.
all right. So let's I think we oh Brenda. Start talking and forget about Brenda. There you go. You're back again.
Yeah. Playing leapfrog with this computer.
So Aldo is saying make sure you let's go ahead and put his comment up here. Make sure you unplug your spark plug cable for safety. Now, do you have a battery or gas, Toro?
Oh, both of them are battery, and that's
Okay.
I've never used a gas lawnmower. The red recycler that I got this year, that was my first time ever mowing grass, period. So all I've known is battery. Um, oh, and this one was really recent. This was a few weeks ago, right before I cleaned up, before I cleaned up the leaves and gave it the final mow of the for the year. And I put down some winterizer. I just used Scott's Winter Guard, and that for this year at least, I that's all I used.
Well, you
And
got
of
some
course
nice
the back.
color. You got some nice color in this for sure.
Thank you. I like the picture because it shows like the little teeny spark of domination against next.
That's
It's
not a
just
teeny
it's
spark. That's not a teeny spark. That's a pretty big
Ten
spark
shades
of
darker.
domination right there. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it was just so pretty, and then when it gets so lush like that, it's just hard not to look at it. I That's probably what I miss. One of the things I miss the most of working from home is getting to look out the window at my grass 40 times a day.
yeah.
You
Yeah, we
wait
got
till
it.
you start striking.
We got the bug. Oh, that was just fun. That was just fun. My cujos and my lovely grass.
Yeah, those Cujos. You know what? I'm not. I'm gonna say this because this is my own personal experience. I literally think those shoes help my feet from like aching like crazy. Prior to getting those shoes, every time I went in the house after doing my yard work, I was hurting. I got those shoes and I don't have that problem. And
Yeah.
Cujo's not paying me anything to say that. So I don't know what they're doing special or they just fit my feet perfectly or something. I don't know, but they really do help me. So,
They're
but
super comfy.
that grass is banging right there. That's nice. But it looks
Oh,
like it
thank
needs to be
you.
cut. It looks really long, but it
Yeah,
looks
it
looks good.
4 1/4 was way too long. It was just yeah, like 4 1/4 it's just too much for me. I needed like 3 3/4, I think is gonna be where I try to stay next year until, fall, winter, bring it down shorter again. But I think I'm gonna try to stay around 3 3/4 next year.
Even
And
even for the spring, you're gonna keep it at that for the spring as well.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the next height up, 3 3/4, and then the next height up is 4 1/4. And the 4 1/4, I think, it was too long. It looked like something could be living in there.
Mm,
And so 3 1/4, I think, would be better
okay.
for me managing wise. And I would, I don't even have dogs, and so I got to the point where before I would mow the grass, I would go out there and just walk it and look through it and see, garbage, doo doo, anything like that. There's some people. I think there's some dogs or something around here because
Oh.
for a minute there, I would go out and look at my grass every day, and I see turds. I'm like, what? Hey, I don't. Whoa. I don't have a horse. Where all these big piles come from? So
Okay.
Yeah,
so yeah. And it ruined my fantasy of being able to mow barefoot. That it
Mm.
totally just ruined my fantasy. My
See,
fantasy was blown out the water when I saw turds. All right. Well,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't think I'll ever mow barefoot. That like, yeah, no. So Grace,
Yeah, I think a good.
I see you mow, or yeah, you cut yours at 4, and you know what, guys? I don't even have a mower that can cut my grass that high. So 4
if you
is
get
the
the super
highest that I go.
recycler,
Mm.
the
Mine
super recycler go
is the
for
recycler, the Flex Force. So it goes to 3 3/4, I believe. But my ego goes to 4. So
Okay. Is that what you normally? Is that what you said you normally keep it at, or?
no. So in the spring, I do 3.5. In the summer, I keep it at 4. And then for the fall, I like to come down like to 3. I think it looks good at 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
for fescue, yep. All right. So, you got any
And
questions in the
a tip.
chat that we missed, guys? India, did we miss anything?
Nah, just a tip though, as you're, because your lawn is new and as you're like building that relationship with your lawn, if you keep like a little, notebook and start documenting, okay, well, I use this fertilizer or I cut it at this height. This is the results I got. So if you try something different next year, or if you like the results that you have from what you've done, you have a log of
Yep.
what you're doing, even if it's just a mowing height, your treatments, what products you're using, how often you're watering in the summer, just so you have a history of it to see what works and what doesn't.
That's very good
Mm-hmm.
advice. I keep my information in an app, but I think
There's an app for that.
it works better for me to just have something in the garage and write down, because when I'm out there and I'm working, it's hard for me to stop. It's hard to stop and put in the app or whatever what I did. It's easier for me to mark something off. Yeah, I did that, so I can keep going, because there have been plenty of times that I've been doing too much. I forget my surfactant or I forget something. It's just like, ugh. So that's a very
There's an
good
app
tip.
for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
True.
Oxen said, is that fine fescue? But you said that's GCI fescue, right?
Oh,
Vito.
for me?
Mm-hmm. You
Oh,
where you
yes.
said you used the GCI fescue, did you use the Cool Blue, or what did you
Cool
use?
Blue. Yep. It was the Cool Blue fescue bluegrass blend.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So you
And
got
like
some bentgrass in there.
I'm across like I said, I dethatched the daylights out of it. I mean, I went over it 50 times, and I seeded like heavily, heavily
Did you?
seeded
So
it.
Vito wants to know if you did you aerate when you overseed it?
Yeah, I had somebody do core aerating.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's another thing that I wish those machines weren't so big and heavy, because I can't lift that thing. So
Yep.
next year, oh, speaking of aeration, next year I wanted to try a liquid aerate product and see how that works.
Well, I
Have you
mean,
tried liquid aerating?
that's a whole different conversation. If you're trying to, I I was adamantly against the manual aeration, the core aeration, but I'm
Hmm.
kind of rethinking that now, and I was using liquid, and it's not doing what I needed to do because that's not really what it's for. So in the spring, because I have a lot of compaction, a ton of it, and I think it contributes to a lot of the issues that I'm seeing, I'm gonna go ahead and get a core aeration done. So,
Yeah.
all right.
I see
Let's get
something that
to,
looks familiar.
yeah. So we have moved on to Brenda. This is very
I'm
familiar. I'll
gonna
let
try
you.
to stay online. I'm
I'll
gonna try to stay online. I'm sitting
okay.
right next to the router.
Okay, go ahead and speak to it. I'll try to pick up. If you drop off, I'll try to pick up because I know a lot about this. So,
Well, I'm jealous, first of all, for all the tools that y'all are talking about. I wish I could, try with a push mower. I got a lot of lawn, and I'm learning how to manage it. So this first picture is I mowed it short. My plan was to dethatch it. That didn't happen in this section.
so
Well, wait.
let's
This middle section I did dethatch. On the other side of the driveway, I did not dethatch.
okay.
Go ahead.
Let's give a little bit of background to what you were
All right.
working with here as far as the types of grass, and then kind of go into what this was because I think that plays a big
Yeah.
part in what we're seeing here.
So what you're seeing in that before picture is actually the other side of the driveway that you see in the after picture, the far side.
Okay. So
That's good.
what she means is the top picture there, or here she comes. She's coming back. I'll let her finish.
Sorry, y'all. So that's a mix of fescue, Bermuda, St. Augustine, and a bunch of weeds. Um,
Yeah,
and
right?
it,
Wow.
That's a crazy
uh,
mix, right?
and this is at the point in the year where I'm sick of it. I'm trying really hard to make it look nice, and I'm just sick of it. And I'm like, I'm gonna mow that shit down. Sorry, I'm gonna give it a nice burr cut and try to be done with it because I'm just about done with it for the year. Um, yeah, it is, and it had what's the weed I was dealing with that only one type of weed killer would nuts edge. Oh, we got some nuts
Oh
edge in
yeah, you got some
there.
nuts edge. Yep.
We've got some Dallas grass in there, which we called in Texas Johnson grass. Um, yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Okay.
So I
But I
talked to
mean, the
Pam.
after picture looked pretty decent.
I'm proud of that center section, and I call it the center. It's the closest to us in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
That part was dethatched twice, liquid aerated, and overseeded.
Okay.
The far side of the driveway, next to the neighbor's dead grass, was not dethatched. By the time I finished dethatching the other two parts of the yard, I was done with it. I just said, I'll never dethatch again.
So I think she was working with about 11,000 square feet in the front. So I understood that she just got tired of messing with
Yeah.
that
Oh
deep.
man, I've texted Pam a message, and basically I used a few choice words and said this will never happen again. Um,
She's like, I'm hiring
Never.
that shit out next year.
Yeah, I'm either finally a college age student or a professional that does this. The dethatcher wasn't bad, except for the fact it kept getting.
So what she was gonna say is that it kept getting stuck. You don't dethatch St. Augustine grass, and it kept getting stuck.
Yeah, it kept getting stuck in the dethatcher, so I had to stop every 30 minutes, unwind everything, get it cleaned up, and I ended up that dethatcher fell apart by the end of my using it. So
Mhm.
it didn't last long in that. But I'm excited for what I did get to see.
Okay.
Pam came over a couple weekends ago and looked at everything,
Yep.
and said, "Well, I got good news and I got bad news." The good news is we can definitely fix it all. The recommendation is let's burn it.
We're gonna
And
burn
I'm
it.
like, let's
Burn
just
it down.
burn it down. Let's burn that baby down and start over.
All right.
Oh.
So India, here she comes. Yeah. So, um,
Yes, we have a plan. We're gonna, we have my front yard has a circular drive, And in the center of the circle, we're going to do a little spring test on burning and see how it goes. And then in the fall, we'll do the rest. We have a lot of yard. My front lawn and side lawn is 11,000 square feet. And what you see in this picture is the backyard, which is a whole nother project. Right? A GoFundMe. Man, it feels like I got dial up. No. Somebody said, let's do a GoFundMe.
There's
Yeah,
one
I'm
on
sitting right
every
next to the
live,
router.
man.
Yeah. So we're having a pool put in the spring. And so we're moving trees. We're getting rid of trees to make some room for sun. We have about our property's about the length of 2 football fields. So we're clearing out, making room for fun and sun. And then so what I have to do on the part that's not grass, we're going to have to put in sprinklers and start.
Yeah, so that part of the project which you see there, I don't think the plan is for us to tackle that next fall possibly because she's gonna get a pool put in there and everything. So after all of that work is done, right? Next fall is when you wanna
Yeah,
start
the
doing
pool
that.
goes in the spring. So I think late February is when he's planning on starting. So I did nothing to the backyard. When we decided we were getting the pool, I put the brakes on the backyard. I turned the sprinklers off in August and said, let it go to pot because I'm not going to waste any money on it or anything. Wait until the spring after everything's done. We put the sprinkler lines in and then we'll go there.
So are you going to see the majority of it?
Yeah. Yeah, we're having all the stumps removed. Yeah, we're going to seed it to the tree line.
Yeah, you know, this picture doesn't do it justice how big that yard is. It is humongous. So this is gonna be a challenge for sure, but it's a challenge that Brenda and I are gonna tackle together.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to make some content videos out of this mess for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
looking
going to be
forward to,
pretty though.
yeah,
All those trees, it's going to be really pretty.
The
that's my hope. If we get that nice green fescue to grow back there, man, I'll be posting those pictures all over the place.
As
You
you
using a
should.
push spreader?
using a what?
Push spreader? You pushing all of that?
Oh no,
Oh,
God,
no.
no, 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 no.
Oh, man. No, 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 no. I have I wanted a nice zero turn, but my lawn has such a pitch to it. It's like an 8-foot drop from the back of the house back to the woods. That looks level there, but it's really not that level. So I can't have a zero turn. So I have one of those big dog 42-inch deck riding mowers that I get out there on and turn.
All right.
Nice.
Let's touch real quick, Brenda. Let's go back to that front area that we're gonna do. Tell me, because I know you know the answer. What is the first thing we're gonna do to that area up there before we do anything? We
I
talked
think we're
about
going
it,
to take a lot of pictures.
right?
I'm gonna get rid I'm moving all the trees and all the shrubs from it because I have a nice circular area. All that's going out. And I can't remember what else, Pam, you're gonna have to help me.
We are gonna get a
Will you?
soil test. We have to get that soil
Yes,
test.
yes, thank
Yep.
you.
Yes. So that
Yeah,
will be happening soon. So
Step one.
we will know what we're
Sweet.
working with. We want to do that before the ground freezes. So we'll know what we're
yes,
working with
yeah,
come the spring.
yeah. You're right. Soil test is always first. See, I'm learning, guys.
Yep.
Soil test first, and then we're gonna burn that baby down and
Yes,
start
ma'am.
over.
Yes, ma'am. So good stuff coming in the spring. All right, and that's really all the pictures and things we have. So let's just
Yeah.
chat a little bit, guys, about a few things. Anything that you want to talk about, anything that you want to ask. We have a lot of people in the chat right now that can answer almost any question if I can't answer it. So we can take advantage of that if you have anything. But we could also just kind of talk. Each person can give a little bit of information as far as why you even started. I think you mentioned a little bit when you introed just why you started doing this and how you feel about it at this point, like the lawn care itself and what it does for you. Eva, you want to start kick us off with that?
Well, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because we started working from home. and working from home, quarantining, social distance, etc. And so I was just working and chilling out, and I'm like, well, what else can I do? And as I was working on the lawn, I realized that for a minute that was the only thing like really getting me outdoors. And so in a strange way, it ended up being kind of a lifesaver, and they're kind of therapeutic, if you will, even though it's really really hard work, and it's like so head to toe just drenched from sweat and little grass bits all over you and stuff. That reminds me, I gotta fix the basement door, that walkout basement.
Yeah, it definitely.
Yeah,
I think a lot. That's the
I don't
story
like.
for a lot of people. The pandemic just kind of pushed people into doing it, and in my case, I didn't even. I had no idea I would enjoy it as much as I did, and that I wasn't exposed to it growing up, and so you guys will see all the time. As much as I can get my girls out there, they are out there doing it because if it's something they love, they can start early and they can make a great career out of it if it's something they want to do.
And they'll learn a ton from you.
Yeah, hopefully. They
They'll
know
learn
more
a
than me
lot.
already, so there's that.
That's
And
awesome.
Brenda, I think your story was similar, right?
Yeah, I've been on a riding mower since I was a kid, and again, it was always on Bermuda and St. Augustine. I've always found being out in the lawn peaceful.
Yeah, India and you, we're gonna keep losing Brenda.
Oh, no, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It was unintentional. It's
Yeah,
I
this
started as a
internet
kid.
reminds me of why I prefer outdoors instead of indoors. know, this kind of stuff will send me over the edge, but a problem in the lawn, I can fix. It just give me a little while, give me a little YouTube, give me some fantastic consultation with PJ, we'll be all right. But
And
yeah,
some marathon.
it is cheap therapy. It is cheap therapy. When the pandemic started and I started doing the lawn again, I just put on the headphones, listen to books, audible books. I probably listened to 25 while I've worked out in the lawn. And it's just, I mean, my wife says when I get inside from working outside all day, she can see that I'm relaxed and happy and, in my element when I'm outside. So she just has to get me to stop. That's the thing is she's like, you got to quit before you crawl in on your hands and knees. Can you please just come in a couple hours so you're not on your hands and knees?
Yeah,
Um,
I made the mistake before where I wasn't drinking enough water. I drink a lot of Gatorade, but I wasn't drinking a lot of water. And I would come in the house and cramp up so bad. And this was my first year doing it. I learned a big lesson and it hasn't happened anymore. I make sure, because I mean, those cramps are, man, you can't fight
yeah.
those things off. So,
Better
I
listen to your body.
that's right.
Yeah. I haven't really struggled with cramps, but I'm just worn flat out when I get inside. And that comes from a childhood of working dusk to dawn on a farm. But I will tell you, real quick, um, no, never mind. We'll talk about that in a little bit when you
Okay.
ask.
Okay.
I'll hold that thought.
Well, to be fair, you got a lot of yard. I think anybody would be exhausted.
Yeah, it takes
With
6 hours to mow,
Mm.
weed eat, and blow. And that's on a good day.
I'm not allowed to be out there that long. Hey, Dawson.
That's my son looking for his moment.
He said, "I'm ready."
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
the guy loves
hilarious. That. All right. All right. So, let's talk a little bit about the resources you used when you first started doing your own lawn. Like, Eva, was there particular videos, channels? I mean, what did you use to kind of learn?
I did use YouTube. I learned the most
Are
from
you
YouTube.
sorry?
Can I wait? Can I mention his channel or
Oh yeah,
not?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it was primarily Bermuda Grass Central.
Okay.
BYD. Even though he grows Bermuda grass and it's
Right.
different, he explained the way he explains the basics and how to tackle your problems with stuff from the big box store was perfect for me as a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, so probably, let's see, his channel, a couple of the others, like Alan Haynes' channel is awesome too. There's a ton of good information. When I first watched him, everything he was saying was just over my head. I was like, what is this dude talking about? What? I have to do all this just to grow healthy grass? And then I found other channels that kind of put it in plain, dumbed it down for me a little bit, if you will. And now I go back and I'll, watch one of Alan's videos, and it makes more sense.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know, so like I said, I learned the most from YouTube.
Hmm.
I'm reading a book right now. Currently, it's called The Lawn Bible by David R. Mellor.
We can't hear
I just
you.
started reading that.
We didn't
Hmm?
hear you. We couldn't hear you.
Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. It's called The Lawn Bible, and it's by David Mellor. It's underneath this
Oh,
thing.
the Lawn Bible?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I just started reading that. I just read it on my lunch break at work, and it's pretty interesting so far. Which brings me to something that, I want to get a soil test. That's probably the one thing I kept hearing about this year, but I just kind of blew off. I'm like, I don't need to do all that.
Well,
It just needs
I
to be
would
fertilized.
definitely suggest that you do that like before the ground freezes. Go ahead and grab your sample
Yep.
and get that done because you're gonna have
That was
that data to
the
work
next
with.
question.
Yeah.
That was the next question I was going to ask you. What is really the best time of year to collect a soil sample?
Just as long as the ground's not frozen.
Okay, so anytime.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just
All
get that
right.
off because what you want to do is know exactly what you're working with going into the spring. You can't treat your lawn if you don't know what's wrong with it or what it's deficient in. So, you want to do that as soon as possible. I actually just took a soil sample of my parkway because I've decided to continue my lawn box organic fertilizer trial. I did a 30-day
Mm-hmm.
trial, but I want to do a full season of that in my parkway. And to do that properly, I want to get a soil test now so that I'll have something to compare next year after I've used it for a full season. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so definitely do that. India, I don't think we ever heard your story as far how you got into lawn care in the original show. Like what drove you to it? What attracted you to it?
Well, as a kid, I always did a lawn at our house. Um, it was just fun. I love being outside anyway. And so when I got my first house, we had some hardscaping and landscaping done, and it went from terrible grass to like really, really nice grass. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm look, I love what I'm seeing. Even though I didn't do it, I didn't know much about it. This looked great. So when I got my next house, I said, okay, I'm gonna kill it off. I'm gonna kill it all. I did it myself. Um, Used my favorite seed, watered it like I saw that I was supposed to, and it turned out great. And so I continued with that, and I had to toot my own horn a little bit. I was doing a great job. So,
No, hey.
so with a little, a little studying and a little work, I said, okay, I love what I was doing. I love the results I was seeing. I went out on a whim, and it's worked out,
Nice.
fortunately, and I'm still loving it. Um, so if I'm loving something, I might as well make a little money doing it. So
That's what I'm talking about. I
I,
absolutely love this. Like I love doing this, and that's big for me to say something like that. To find something that I like this much. So I get you. I'm right there with you.
yeah.
Just real quick before we move on, Aldo said something that reminded me, Eva. You asked when was the best time to do a soil test, and you can do it anytime before the grass freezes. But if you need to do it at least wait 30 days after you have fertilized because you don't want the results of your soil test to be skewed by the fertilizer that you just put down. So fertilize.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you fertilize, when was the last time you fertilized?
Oh gosh, 2, 3 weeks ago.
Okay, so you would have to
And I
wait
used that
another two
that
or three
Scott's
weeks.
Winter Guard.
Yeah, so you'd have to wait
Okay.
another 2 or 3 weeks and hope the ground isn't frozen and then do it at that point.
Okay. And let's see. Did you do the thing where you went around the yard and collected samples from different areas of the yard too? And
Yeah,
then
I
you
try to
you
get,
put them
I think
together
the rule of thumb is to try to get like 10 plugs or something. I get 6 to 8 and
and
then
mix them together.
yeah, mix it all together. Yeah. But I
Okay.
will also suggest that you do maybe a front yard and a backyard. So do two separate tests.
Yeah, with
Oh,
my yard, I did 2 to 3 soil samples per section. I labeled it all like left front, left middle, left back for all the front, and then the same, with the center, I did a front, middle, and back center, and then the right side. So I labeled it all because in our with our soil test, you can label sections. So
Yep.
I was able to label everything real well. So whenever I got the soil test back, I knew exactly what part of the yard that came from.
Okay. Yep.
You got like 10
did you
yards in
find
one,
that there
so
were
She's like, right?
variances though?
She's got a bunch of.
I know, right? I got 11,000 square feet in the front. It's probably going to be that in the back. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And so,
man, it's
Brenda,
like
what?
half an acre. That's-
Go ahead and
What's
give
that?
us. Oh no, she's gone again. Okay.
I say, wasn't it her that was complaining about being jealous of the equipment?
Yeah, you're right. Uh-huh.
Of
Man, look
course,
at that
as
land.
soon as you ask me a question, of course it goes off. What'd you say?
Just wanted to know, like, what got you interested in it, in uh doing this in the first place.
The pandemic,
Oh, I'm
needing time
sorry.
out.
I'm sorry. That was my bad. I'm doing too much. I'm producing over
Talk
here,
about
guys.
that.
You gotta excuse me. And not anybody help me. No. Your resources, the
Yeah.
resources that you use coming into this.
So, on a side note, yeah, I have PTSD from the pandemic, so I could say the pandemic many times. Um, yeah, no, it's the resources. I mean, you're the first one as an adult. You're the first one that I've listened to and paid attention to and wanted to investigate more. And, I have lawn envy when I see you out there in your lush green grass, and I'm like, I want that.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate that. She's been a great person to work with because she actually listens. She listens
So
to,
that's the biggest resource. And then
yeah.
YouTube for those questions that I have that I don't want to bug you with. That I feel like I need to find some things out on my own. And then when I just can't get a clear answer, I'll reach out to you. Um,
So what I found really
yeah.
interesting, Brenda, about you, I was pretty surprised, but also pretty proud when you said you were trying to do the fertilizer certification. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, when she told me that, I was like, because I told her that I was studying for it and I got my certification, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna start studying for that on my vacation. Like, what?
Did you say
You're gonna be
Talking to
fertilizer
my
certification? What is that?
Hey, she
yeah.
diving in there.
I'm trying to
What is
talk to my
that?
computer.
A
Yeah, you can
fertilizer
go.
certification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing
What
it
is
through
it?
Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
Go
it's
ahead.
you can get certified to be able to spread fertilizer. It's in here in Virginia, the fertilizing and the pesticide certifications are different. So I have the fertilizer, but I don't have the pesticide, and I actually don't plan on getting the pesticide one. I think what I'm gonna gravitate more towards getting turf management certification, and see how that goes. Because with the pest certification here, the pesticide certification, you have to actually work with a company for a year before you're even qualified to take the certification, and I can't see me doing that. So
So you have to
Yeah.
be an intern for Orkin.
I'm not gonna do that. I just can't
I
see
can
that
see you
happening.
being an intern for Orkin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Virginia Tech certification, when Pam, said she was doing it, I'm like, hey, let me look into that because obviously I'm going to be using a lot of fertilizer. I need to know what I'm doing.
Hmm.
So I decided to just go ahead and get it. And through Virginia Tech, it was only $10. So
Yeah, poor
And there
Brenda,
she
man.
goes.
We definitely have to do a fund for her. She just comes right back. Like there has to be something. There has to be a setting or something that's causing this to happen. I don't know what it is.
Well, we're having a lot of internet problems in this area. It's Verizon Vios, and I don't know what's going on. We've upped our routers and we've done all kinds of stuff. That's a whole nother YouTube from somebody else, probably. Uh, uh, you know, but yeah, and to try to answer some of the things that we were going to talk about while I'm actually connected.
Mm-hmm.
You had asked about what tools we use. Works. I love the Works.
She was talking about the works, the trimmer, the edger. She actually got me to buy that thing, and I love it. That was a good
Yeah,
call.
I love the Works Weed Eater. Get the biggest battery that they have. I had to. Maybe someone with a smaller lawn won't have to, but I got 2 or 3 batteries, and that will last me for the duration of the entire front and back weed eating. I got a great.
Just gotta wait a
Just
second.
give her a few seconds. She'll be back.
Golly. I got a great backpack sprayer, a 4-gallon backpack sprayer, which was probably too much weight on my back, but I'm doing it. I'm going to power through. It's the Petra. Is it Petra?
Yeah, I think you got the petrol.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's battery operated, and I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah. Polo. I've got everybody in the house off the internet. Um, Tell them all. I've texted them, get off. Everybody get off. Go data. Um, anyway, so I got the backpack sprayer. It's a little rough going from that back end of the slope back to the garage to get the chemicals in it for a second round. But it takes, just for the front yard, it takes 4 or 5 loads in the sprayer to get it all done. So about 20.
Well, Brenda has that type of house that she should have like parties, like have all of her friends bring their equipment over there to help her in her yard because that thing is huge.
Have a yard
Yeah.
party, like they have paint parties.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Lord Jesus, help my internet.
All right.
Please, Lord Jesus.
I think she
Um,
need a skin sprayer.
Yes. The riding
Like that
mower.
backpack.
Pam turned me on to the backpack sprayer. Pam turned me on to looking at a battery powered weed eater because mine just, I was using a gas one, and I love the Works weed eater because it's auto feed on the
Mm.
uh, on the string.
I've had my issues with these trimmers. So when she was talking about it, I think the thing that got me though with what she was saying about the works was that it had the lifetime string. Like works would give you
Yeah,
that. I mean, you get like 6 spools. You have to pay shipping, so it's about $10 for 6 spools. But I mean, I absolutely love that thing. So I have no complaints at all. Because the other ones,
I
I use string
yeah.
trimming to edge. Hopefully that's gonna change soon because I think I'm gonna end up getting the Toro edger because I can't wait to try that out because I've never had just an edger. It's always been the string trimming, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Boy, that replacement head that you just pop one out. I bought a little thing that holds the extra spools on the trimmer. So all I do is take one off, put it back in. I see you, Polo. See ya. I will never go back to a gas powered weed eater again. Never. And I love the backpack sprayer. I think the only way I could go up at this point, Pam, is
Hmm.
by getting a pull behind the riding mower liquid
Oh yeah.
spray. That's
And
the
that might be
only.
something you should look into for sure. I
Yeah,
can't obviously can't give you any advice on those, but something
right.
you might want to look
Yeah.
into. I think Polo. Do you use that? I think Polo maybe uses something like that.
Or she can just get her permagreen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just get a permagreen.
Yeah. I mean, it will cut your time in like a quarter.
So, Eva, what is some of your favorite equipment, lawn equipment?
Well, definitely my super recycler mower for sure. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. And number two really would be my edger.
Which
There
one do
was
you
a
use?
I use oh well, excuse me, I feel like I gotta sneeze. Oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. Okay,
Bless you.
thank you. Thank you. I started out doing the edges with the string trimmer because again, that's what I saw on YouTube,
Uh huh.
and they they would like take the guard off and flip it around in all different ways, and they would just walk and this nice clean edge. And I didn't take my guard off or anything, but lucky, I fight all this flipping and carrying on. Good thing I tried it in the backyard first, where my neighbors couldn't see me. because when I got done with that line, it looked like, you know, my drunk uncle did it. And I was watching BYD's videos, and he was talking about, again, to bring him up, talking about the edger, you know, using the edger. And I was even watching BYD Junior one day, and I'm like, let me just break down. And so I just broke down, and I got the attachment to go on the 40-volt Ryobi. You know, with that, it has all the different attachments you can put on. Yeah, I have the 40-volt Ryobi, and it works beautiful. It's so easy.
The edger.
I would say, yes, it's clean, it's easy, it doesn't look like I was drunk.
But you know what? I have to admit though, when you get that nice crispy edge with that string trimmer, there's just something about it that's so satisfying.
Satisfying.
So satisfying.
I believe you. I believe you. I would need a lot more practice. A lot more practice. But yeah, I don't have the patience for it. I'd rather just use my little edger, get out there, crisp, clean, one shot, and be done with it. Okay. But yeah, I'll never ever string trim the edges ever. Ooh,
never say never.
Still have flashbacks.
Never say never.
That is right.
Oh,
right.
So what would you say is your biggest takeaways from this previous season, like going into next season?
Oh my goodness, my biggest takeaways. Well, number one would be to get a soil test for sure. Or good. Possibly, I'm looking 2 right now at this point. Get 1 for the front, 1 for the back. Another takeaway that is, oh gosh, how much hard work it is. It's really, really hard. And lastly, as a beginner, probably the most important thing that I've learned is to have a freaking plan. Have a freaking strategy. Meaning I'm gonna have to sit down with the paper and pencil, or I saw somebody mention that they're a nerd and they have a Excel spreadsheet or something like that. But I need to have a plan. I'm gonna have to like put down, all right, a schedule. All right, this month we put down the insecticide. On this day we're gonna do the fungicide, and keep it, just on a rotation as a preventative thing, because it's a bitch trying to fix these things after it's already in the lawn, and the lawn is looking jacked, and you're scrambling around with these, trying to find the right chemicals to fix it. Another thing that I did was I started just a teeny tiny stash down in my basement. I've got some Disease X, some fungicides, an extra bag of fertilizer, a little extra weed killer. Because I think it's very handy when you have like a little store at home, and when your lawn needs something, you don't have to run out and get something. When I had like other things.
Lowe's or Home Depot, it's like,
I agree. Yeah, Home Depot is a lot of fun. That's one of my favorite stores, definitely. It's just that when I see something wonky in the lawn, I want to fix it right then and there.
So I'm curious. Did you experience issues with fungus this year and or the worm situation?
I saw a couple of grubs, but I treated it and I didn't see any more. Although, let's see. Yes, I did have fungus. Treated that, took care of it. Learned what fungus was, what it looks like, how it looks on the grass blades.
Oh, good. Polo's going to be proud of you for that, because I go to him and his channel for anything. If I want to identify fungus, that's where you go. Go to Polo's channel.
Okay, all right. I'll keep that in mind for sure. That he's the fungus expert.
He is, absolutely.
Okay.
I was, being DIYers, there's nothing wrong with, Home Depot, Lowe's, and just there's going to be a lot of opinions especially if you're on like YouTube, a lot of opinions on fertilizers or which fungicides to get. If you like something, go with it, especially if it's just your lawn. You don't have to go spend hundreds of dollars and stuff like that. But something to keep in mind is your cost per application. So even though this fertilizer might cost you $50. Is that $50 going to last you all year, or are you going to have to get something different? So that's just food for thought.
Right. And I completely agree with you on that. And another tip is if you have a local landscape supply company, go there for your fertilizer and all of your lawn stuff and just check because a lot of times you get much better deals there. They have quality products. We don't always have to go to Lowe's and Home Depot. I don't
Right.
get any fertilizer from Lowe's or Home Depot. You guys know I rock with Hybrid for my fertilizer and Simple Lawn Solutions with the liquid. Um, because of issues that I'm having in my lawn, I'm gonna have to incorporate like pure ammonium sulfate, some citric acid. So I'm already working on my plan for the spring. It's gonna be a little bit different than it was this year, but that's okay. And I think ongoing it's gonna be that plan here on out. But thankfully, the Hybrid fertilizer does have ammonium sulfate in it, so I can still use it. And my backyard absolutely loves it, so I'm gonna keep
Hey,
using
this is legit.
it. Yep. So they're talking in the chat about how, just like with everything else, materials are gonna be difficult to find, materials and product. So if you can get some, I have plenty in my garage. I don't think I'm gonna have to buy anything next year. You never know. Maybe some ammonium sulfate, but other than that, I'm stocked up. So Eva, you mentioned that you had some stuff, already,
Mm-hmm.
and that that's good. It never hurts to be ready, because the last thing you want to do is
Yeah.
be searching for product. So
If
Yeah.
you can get it
I'll
done
have
while it's toward the end of the year, go for it.
And
oh,
I think that was like the biggest way in which I kind of fooled myself about lawn care as a beginner is that, okay, I've seen two grubs. All right, I know that the grub X, okay, got to put the grub X down. And I put it down and then I didn't do it again. For some reason in my mind, I thought that, oh, it's good for the entire growing season. No, it's not. No, it's not. It doesn't last that long.
well, I
What are you
think
supposed
most
to do? Like
bags
every
say
four
like
weeks
three
or something?
months. Most bags say 3 months,
Yeah,
but
something like
it just
no.
depends. If you're putting it down preventative, the rate's going to be different than what you put down for curative. So that's another thing you
Hmm.
have to keep in mind. If you're seeing grubs, you dig up that area and you see a bunch of grubs, then you have to do the curative rate as opposed to the preventative rate. So
Be
Oh, they're so
proactive.
gross.
yeah, be
They're
proactive.
so,
Be proactive for
they're
sure.
so gross. Have you
And
guys
I plan on putting out in the group, in the SOTL group, I'll put, hey, think about, start it's time to start thinking about that preventative, for your yard and things like that. I'll kind of put those reminders out there. So
that'll help. That would definitely help. The probably another weird thing that I noticed, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever had it, but have you ever used peat moss and found that wasps are attracted?
no, not specifically.
Okay, like when I did my backyard, when I dethatched it and I seeded it very heavily, I put a bunch of peat moss,
Mm.
just grab it and go like this. Oh, Jake. I think I learned that from the little trick from watching Jake. And I put a whole bunch of it back there because I did not want these seeds to dry out. And I noticed that wasps were coming. And I'm looking at them like, okay, are these things, did they just hatch up out of the ground from grubs and come up? Or are these like little wasps that are coming into the grass to try to lay eggs? I don't know. And I was just curious if any of you guys like ever had any issues with wasps like just
Repeat.
hanging around and floating around the surface of your lawn.
No, that might be an
I've never
isolated
experienced
thing.
that.
I think that might be
Hmm.
isolated.
Okay.
Um, so Scott says that Grubs got him this year, but he's gonna get him next year. Yep, the preventative. So the army worms, I didn't get hit with the army worms because I did a preventative. I didn't get hit in the majority of my yard, but I got hit in my sod. I sodded in May, and with new sod, the recommendation is not to put anything on it. So I hadn't treated the sod. So the army worms ate it up. Like it was gone. All that money wasted. But it's back now. I brought it
That's
back.
everybody's back, right?
We're seeding, so we're good. Um, so what? Let's talk a little bit about what other types of information you would like to see out there about lawn care. And this will help. I think we have probably a few lawn tubers in the audience here to help them too kind of understand, what direction, what we want to show people for next season. Like I am really trying to gear my channel to a point where every single bit of information on there is going to help somebody with something. I'm trying not to ramble as much as I do. So I'm gonna cut that out. I'm not gonna talk at all. No, but yeah. So what do you guys like? What would have helped you more this year, you think, with your lawn and stuff?
I personally, I think time, and I know that's stolen away so quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and you got to be on it. So I think there's a commitment level there that I learned that I need to.
What
And we'll
about
be
you?
back. Me?
Here's Brenda. She's back.
As soon as I start talking, it goes off. Time for sure. There's a commitment level in knowing what it needs and doing it when it needs it.
Hmm.
Um, because my wife is watching, I will say I don't have near enough supplies. I don't have near enough supplies. I've got to get more supplies.
What it was
Yeah,
it you
Home
were
Depot
trying to
was
get yesterday
insane.
out of her? What was it?
What's
You were trying to get something out of her yesterday. What was it?
a blower? A blower.
Yes, yes, a
Yeah,
backpack
I
blower.
need a I need a backpack blower for that back 40, man. That's gonna be rough. I have a gas powered blower, which is okay for blowing off the sidewalk with grass on it.
All right, India, come on, you tell us what plans do you have for next season? What do you think you're gonna get into? I mean,
Nothing.
for
My plan.
yourself or for your customers.
My plan. I really to just. I've neglected my lawn. I'm sorry. My lawn got neglected quite a bit this year because I was just so busy with other people's yards. So for me, my plan is efficiency and also incorporating a little more TLC into my yard. It's typical. Only this year was a little rough, but we're gonna get there.
Okay.
I got a plan. That's my plan.
There she goes again, Scott. Yeah, she's just like, yeah. It, but you know what? I'm seeing something here. Her kids are on as moving with the Moosas. And seems like every time they post something, she drops.
Yeah.
And now
So, oh,
She's nailing
you're
them.
muted, Brenda. You're
She's
muted.
she's nailing them. I just called her. She's nailing them. I
Okay.
have twin 8-year-olds who are thinking this is funny. Yes. What
Okay.
was the question? What was the question? Or what?
Just we
Sorry.
were just talking about what were next year's plans, what you want to see, anything that would help you
Yeah.
set time, which we all asked for that. I think a little bit more of
Right.
that, but
Well, in general, look.
no, it's not gonna happen. What about you, Eva? Anything you're specifically looking forward to seeing?
Well, aside from making a
Yeah.
plan for next year so I can, stay ahead of the curve a little bit instead of being so reactive to everything, to whatever the lawn goes through. Aside from making a plan to be proactive in its care, I wanted to learn more about NPK. This this stuff called nitrogen. It helps it get green. It helps it grow. What else does it do?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's a macro. All right. What else can we learn about P? I hear very little about the phosphorus.
Mm-hmm.
I hear very little about it. And well, what is it? What does it do? Why don't we use it very much? How come it's like it's always almost always zero when you look at the fertilizers ratios of NPK, and of course the potassium. I want to learn more about what that does. So I guess in a nutshell, more about the what fertilizers are actually doing in the plant as well as what they're doing in the soil.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that's something
And
I'm going to be, I
it's
think,
definitely
starting
good
to
to
do.
understand that. Once you understand that better, you'll be able to treat your lawn a lot better.
Yeah.
I know
They have different
based on your
requirements at
soil
different times
test.
of the year.
Yeah,
So it's important to understand what you're throwing down and at what time of the year you're throwing it down, because if you take you know, a 3205 in the middle of summer, you might be a little disappointed.
right. You're gonna like it,
So
especially on fescue. Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of it too, is
Okay.
understanding all the different fertilizers and when to apply. Pam, I hope this is coming down your pipeline, some type of planner, an idea. Man, if I could put it in the calendar of when I'm supposed to do something, then I'd get it done.
Right.
But knowing when to do that, that's tough to know. I have to. Part of this is going to be educating myself on knowing what to look for to know when it's time to do X or Y.
Hmm.
Um,
So Vito, we did talk a little bit about see I'm so used to Brenda dropping off now. I just move right into the next thing. All right, let me let her rock it. There she is. There you go.
I should have known to come to your house. That's what I should have done. I should have just come to your house. I'm gonna kill my children. When I get off this phone, y'all are going, mm.
Mm.
just to
uh,
piggyback on that a little bit,
yeah,
you mentioned earlier about going to like your fertilizer supply stores, or you know your
Yeah,
fertilizer supply shops.
yeah,
Um, Oftentimes, like I know here the ones or a couple of ones here do, but sometimes they'll have a sheet, kind of like a plan of, okay, well, January to February put this down, March to April put this down, May and June put this down. That'll take you through the whole year. But and it'll tell you, what numbers you may need or whatever. But you also need to know where your soil is, because just because that sheet or that plan says put, this type of fertilizer down, your soil may require more or less of something, which is why it's important to do a soil test. So you can't really know where you're going until you know where you at. So that's
right,
why that soil test is important. That plan is just you know, just a guide.
yeah.
But you may need to
End
tweak
up
you may need
probably.
more phosphorus or more potassium, or, something else. You may not need any phosphorus because your soil is high in phosphorus, so you don't want to put more down. So that's why it's important to do a soil test. And if you don't know well, we're in different states, but a lot of them you can go to and ask questions. Hey, this is what my soil test says. Can you help me with the fertilizers I need for the spring, summer, winter, fall, and anything in between if needed? And
right,
I'm done.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, and in that, India mentioned, just that like the basic bones of your plan is what you're gonna have. And Vito, I was addressing you earlier that we did all talk about our plan, keeping our keeping notes in our journals or whatever we decide to use. But yeah, we are doing that for sure. Eva, Tony wants to know where you're located.
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. I don't know much about the weather in Chicago.
It's kind of this time of year it's pretty bipolar. You'll need like a sweater in the morning, or a jacket, and then by afternoon you could lose it for a little while, and then you need to put it back on in the evening. It's very erratic at this
Hmm.
time. I feel like I with my last fertilizer application, the winterizer, when I got really lucky, I got it down just when all the leaves dropped, just when all they dropped, which according to, the directions, that's when the manufacturer wanted to go down. So I'm like, all right. So I put it down the next day. Even the forecast, the next day there was a bunch of rain. I'm like, okay, cool. It's in. I'm done. If I have to do anything else again, I think this year it'll be maybe clean up some more leaves that blow onto the lawn, and that's it. I did notice that there is still some fungus on it, but with when I get it up in the morning, it's all frosted. The grass, there's a coat of frost all over it. So I'm like, is it even worth it to try to put a spray fungicide application? And from what I've read, Well, what I read, the stuff only lasts for 2 weeks anyway. So I'm like, should I just, what does the wintertime do? If you have a mild fungus in the fall and you don't do anything with it, what can I expect next spring? Will it
Well,
just kind of be the same, or will it be worse? Or
that is a good question. Let me see if Polo was listening, if he can answer that, because I honestly don't know. I thought I had a possibly fungus, but as I examined the blades and looked at everything, it doesn't look like fungus. It just looks like early dormancy or something like that. But I had kind of the same question: should I go ahead and, if it's a fungus, apply something now, because I don't know what it's going to look like in the spring. So Brenda says she can't get back in. I think we've lost Brenda.
oh,
We'll
All
be
right. Well,
thinking about you, Brenda.
that's all right. It's okay. We're, you're here with us in spirit.
But even to your point, I that's part of the point of being preventative. Because the winter will take care of some things, but when you're starting back up and it's starting to come in and grow and the springtime has hit, you want to try to prevent some of the things that you may have seen this year, like fungicides or pre-emergent. And all products are not the same. So if you said that product lasts 2 weeks, you can find a product that'll last 28 days.
Right. You get the
So,
14 or 14.
yeah, so if you're looking, you go on YouTube and every part of the country is different. So it's not a one size fits all. Excuse me, products. I'm not talking about fungicide specifically, but products aren't a one size fits all. But you want to, try to find different products that you see people using. Some cost less, some cost more, but just keep in mind that, just because this fungicide lasts 28 days, that doesn't mean that every fungicide will last 28 days. So if you find something that works, and just keep track of, okay, well, every 14 days I need to apply this. Or even when it comes to weed control, I can't apply this above 85 degrees. Or, whatever the case may be. Everything is not a one size fits all. That makes sense?
mm-hmm,
Okay.
yeah.
So we have a couple
Well,
of responses from the chat there. Aldo says, you got to know when you're most susceptible to disease and identify it correctly. And I think, that's very important too, because you have the different types of fungicides that address different funguses, obviously, fungi. So that is important. The identification piece is important. And I will say again, and I will tell anybody, I tell everybody the same thing. Polo has some great videos on his channel that show you the different types of fungus. And I go there if I have a question, before I even ask them, before I throw it out there, I'll go and watch one of his videos to see if it makes sense to me. And I've learned a lot by just
mm-hmm,
watching those. So check those out
okay.
if you get a chance. So I think let's see if we have any more questions. We got some people in. All right, so Tony says it's more important to identify whether you actually have a fungus before applying a fungicide, and that is very true. Very true. You definitely don't want to put more chemicals in your yard than you need to. So,
All right.
the We Working team they call me Trigger. I think that I should not have that name, because I only pull the trigger after I've done my research, but they seem to think I just
Telling me work.
yeah. All right.
Even
So,
with a lot of these fertilizer companies, they can help. Eat, you know, a company here requires some of their employees to have degrees in certain things. So if you don't know it, you can't find what you're looking for online, just take it to the store and say, hey, I'll take a sample to the store. This is what my grass is looking. Can you help me identify what this may or may not be and how I can treat it? So don't be bummed out or whatever if you can't figure it out on your own. There's plenty of resources out here that help the homeowner. Um, if you have any questions that you can't find the answer to.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
Polo chimed
I
in, Eva. It just depends on what type of fungus you have. But if he's saying if it was brown patch, it should have grown out by springtime with the growth of the
mhm.
grass. And then Cam also put in some good information saying that typically during the winter the disease triangle is not complete, so there's less potential for spread of the fungus. So I take that more as you probably shouldn't treat and just kind of let it grow out, or by the spring you probably won't be dealing with it. So just be ready.
Yeah, I'll be ready for it, and I'll just, inspect it carefully and see what's going on and address it from there. And like I've mentioned before, I think that's going to be really important, is to actually get on a schedule, a preventative schedule. Um, and I think that'll help it out tremendously, because, trying to run around trying to fix things was hard. That was stressful, you
Okay.
know.
Well, yeah, we'll keep on top of it. Again, I'll probably put out some information in the off season, in the group, just kind of did you know this kind of thing, and kind of get people ready for the spring. All right. Let's see. Sometimes you just got they're talking about my trigger finger. Yeah. Sometimes it just like I just gotta pull it. But
You ain't never seen.
well, ladies, I'm so glad that you joined me tonight. It was fun having you. I enjoyed the conversation. We're going to keep this conversation going. Um, I wanted to put your information up here. Brenda's not here, but there is her Instagram. We have MVP's Instagram and Eva's Instagram there. So give them a follow. They're going to be posting things, asking for help. We're going to help them throughout the season and get things going. Um, yeah. So,
Hey, this will give us something to look forward to next season. I look forward to seeing all these lawns, and even the people in the chat. Share your stuff, post it. We love to see it.
oh, absolutely. I tell people that all the time. Like, send it to me. I want to see what's happening. I push the higher bricks a lot, and I'm very,
It's
very
legit.
curious if it works as well for everybody else as it does for me. I know Cam says it works great for him. He's used it. Polo hasn't used it yet. I have had a couple people message me saying that, oh, this stuff is great, but I like to hear, I like that feedback. So yeah,
David, try it out. Try it out.
try it
You
out.
won't be disappointed. Donna Eva.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good stuff. But
All
I
right,
wanted to
guys.
mention, man, somebody said something earlier,
All right.
way back in the beginning, that I didn't get to bring up, but we were talking about equipment, and she was talking about, I think I just want a different car to drive because it's Tuesday, and then drive a different one on Friday. Grace said she has 4 mowers for that reason.
Grace says she has 4 mowers.
4 mowers. That blew my mind.
That's
And then the neighbor dominator says they have 5. I said, wow.
I
Wow,
mean,
just for
I
fun.
finally have
all
2.
right.
I finally have
Yeah.
2, and I want a third one.
Yep.
Man, y'all
Third
balling
one,
out for
definitely getting a
homeowners.
third one next spring for sure. I need a bigger garage.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, well, I need a shed to put all of this stuff in that I
We
have.
need bigger garages.
Oh,
Hey,
very cool.
just keep on adding on. The options are endless. They're endless.
They are. And I mean, with this whole thing switching, the country starting to go towards battery over the gas power. I mean, prices are going to change. We can bet on that. So, but guys,
I'm gonna
again, thank you so much for being with me tonight. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and thanks everybody who showed up tonight, gave us some support, showed the ladies some support. I really appreciate you as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, and India and Eva stick around. All right, guys, catch you later.
Peace.